Managing your out-of-control anxiety becomes a lot easier when you understand how anxiety impacts you. Regardless of what kind of anxiety disorder you have, whether it be generalized anxiety disorder, social anxiety disorder, panic disorder, phobia-related disorder, or some other type of chronic anxiety, it's important to recognize that all anxiety disorders share common characteristics that, if properly understood and managed, you can take back control. Now keep in mind that this is part 2 of my anxiety discussion, so if you haven't yet watched part 1, I recommend that you watch it first if you're interested in understanding what anxiety is on a fundamental level. The link to part 1 of this video can be found in the description below. Now going back to the point about how anxiety impacts us. Well, anxiety impacts us physiologically, cognitively, emotionally, and behaviorally. Keep in mind that these different aspects are all interconnected, which means that your bodily sensations, thoughts, feelings, and behaviors influence and reinforce one another. So when you are overcome with anxiety, your anxious thoughts feed into anxious feelings, which feed into anxious behaviors and anxious bodily sensations. Now in this video, I want to discuss with you how to break down the process of managing your anxiety into 4 simple steps. Step 1 is to ground yourself. Step 2 is to notice your anxious thoughts. Step 3 is to shift the narrative. And step 4 is to do something different. Now grounding yourself, which is step 1, involves ensuring that you're taking care of the physiological symptoms of your anxiety. Some of the physiological symptoms of anxiety include elevated heart rate, hyperventilation, nausea, sweating, trembling, and feeling weak, tense, or tired. When your body is in full-blown anxious survival mode and you're experiencing any of these physiological symptoms, your mental resources become depleted, which is why it's difficult to think constructively when you're in this distressed state. Grounding yourself first can help you to relax and recharge your mental capacity. Now, to keep matters simple, just keep in mind 2 important things that are involved in grounding yourself. The first thing is to refocus your attention toward your breathing, and the second thing is to reconnect yourself with your 5 senses. Doing both of these things can help to bring you back to the present moment and ultimately return you to a calmer state. Now, at the most basic level, we're all already naturally equipped with a powerful grounding technique, and that is our breathing. But we often underestimate how powerful the breath can be. Honestly though, I think as humans we just tend to complicate things for ourselves sometimes. So something as simple as taking deep breaths to help alleviate your physiological anxiety symptoms might sound too good to be true. But no, it is literally that simple and that effective. But when I say deep breaths, I mean deep breaths. The kind of breaths where you inhale through your nose slowly, taking anywhere from 4 to 8 seconds. Then you hold your breath for another 4 to 8 seconds before you exhale slowly through your mouth, taking again anywhere from 4 to 8 seconds. You also want to make sure that when you inhale, you really fill your belly with air and feel your chest rising. Deep breathing sends oxygen to your brain and activates its relaxation centers, which allows your body to relax as well. Secondly, it's very beneficial to reconnect yourself with your 5 natural senses to help reduce your physiologically distressed, anxious state. Now, a specific technique that you can use here is called the 5-sense grounding technique. In the 5-sense grounding technique, what you want to do is you want to acknowledge 5 things that you can see, 4 things that you can feel, 3 things that you can hear, 2 things that you can smell, and 1 thing that you can taste. Now take your time doing this exercise. Don't rush yourself and don't be forceful about it either. You don't need to think of it as a performance that you have to perfect. Just let go of your expectations around how well you should be doing it and allow your natural senses to take over. This will feel more natural and easy to do. Now, once the physiological symptoms of your anxiety have subsided, you can then move on to step 2, which is to notice your anxious thoughts. And before you automatically subscribe to these anxious thoughts as truths, just simply observe them without judgment. To help illustrate this, let me give you an analogy here. Imagine your thoughts are vehicles that are going back and forth on the road in front of you. And imagine yourself sitting on a bench in front of the road, just simply observing the vehicles as they pass you by. Now, you don't need to get up and stop the traffic or chase after any vehicles. You're just simply observing the traffic in front of you as it is happening. Similarly, you want to treat your anxious thoughts the same way. And according to ironic process theory, the more you try to not think certain thoughts, the stronger these thoughts actually become. So if you've ever wondered why your brain can be such a troll sometimes, don't worry, it's not just a you thing, it's a human thing. Which is why accepting the inevitability of negative thinking is a much more efficient way of reducing the impacts of negative thoughts on us. And that's the irony of it, but it also makes sense because as humans, we tend to become more resistant and troubled when we are forced to do something. And in case you didn't know this, humans have around 70,000 thoughts in a given day, and around 80% of these thoughts are negative. So really, the more realistic goal to set for ourselves is to learn how to effectively live with the negative thoughts rather than to make them disappear altogether. Now, step 3 of anxiety management involves shifting the narrative a bit. For example, instead of telling yourself that you're going to fail your test, you tell yourself that you're having the thought that you're going to fail your test. Now, this slight shift in narrative allows you to intentionally separate yourself from the negative thought you're having. In other words, you remind yourself that your thoughts are a part of you, but they're not all of you. And when you consistently practice engaging in this narrative, your negative thoughts over time can become less consuming and powerful. Now, this will then help you to make more space for constructive thoughts that you want to identify with and allow these constructive thoughts to have a bigger impact on you. Now, the last step in anxiety management is to practically do something different. As Albert Einstein once said, insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. If you really want to overcome whatever anxiety disorder you have, it is crucial that you expose yourself to whatever provokes your anxiety. And no, I'm not talking about running towards a tiger here. I'm talking about the anxiety-provoking situations that don't put your life at risk, but still make you feel anxious. Whether this means speaking up more in group settings, or doing a performance, or joining that class you've been wanting to join but have been feeling too anxious to, and more importantly, allowing yourself to fail. Go do the thing, even if you do it badly. Anxiety can sometimes lead us to have these unrealistic expectations of ourselves where we always have to do it right and be in total control. But this way of thinking is precisely what leads us to spiral, give up, and become even more chronically anxious. Remember, you have the power to reframe your negative experiences in such a way where you can learn something from them, and then do a little better the next time around. Now, you don't have to go from 0 to 100 here, but it's important to take that first step, and then to take it one small step at a time from there. If you'll recall in part 1 of this video, I briefly discussed how our daily reactions and behaviors constantly build new neural pathways and connections inside our brains. Now, if you've equipped yourself with effective coping strategies, such as the ones discussed in this video, the next step is to give yourself permission to practically test yourself in anxiety-provoking situations. By doing this, you start to rewire your brain towards a healthier, less anxious state. Now, this is not to say that your anxiety will disappear altogether, but engaging yourself in anxiety-provoking situations can help reduce the power that your unhealthy anxiety has on you. And even if you don't actively go out of your way to create these anxiety-provoking situations, it's important to stay open to them when they naturally present themselves to you in your life. And if I can leave you with one more parting message, it's that growth does not happen inside your comfort zone. Now, if you have enjoyed the content in this video and want to hear more like it, then I invite you to subscribe to my channel. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.